talked about how can you have yourself ready before you even get an interview, just in general. Go to the, I mean, you can find everything online now. Go take courses online. Read, go to the library. Take out their DVDs on sales techniques. That's what I did when I first got into sales. I learned everything I could on sales, and you don't even have to. It's not necessarily learning about interviewing, but just like going back to yourself. So and you can put those things at the bottom of your resume, that you went to a Tom Hopkins sales seminar, or that you read Spin Selling book.
And what about once you've submitted that resume and maybe nothing's happening, or maybe you have secured a phone screen? What should salespeople be doing to separate themselves when they get that phone screen, or when they're trying to get that phone screen outside of the resume?
You know what? I think a big mistake, because you're probably expecting me to say do a lot of research in the company while you're waiting. Prepare yourself by knowing a lot about the company. They're not looking to hire someone that's a researcher. They're looking to hire what I deal with, a salesperson. So spend the time researching yourself, pulling out all of your strengths. And this is something for another time, but which is called FAB selling, or feature advantage benefit selling. And that's when you pull out the specific about yourself, like I'm competitive. I mean, that's general, but that's an adjective or an adverb to describe you. I'm competitive. And then you say, for example, I was all-state 3 years in a row on my football team. Okay, and then you go into the benefit. The benefit's always going to be one of 5 or 6 things, but the most important to a company of the benefits are usually going to be how are you going to make me money, or how are you going to save me money, or how are you going to save me time.
Mm-hmm. No, I absolutely love that. Now, are you saying no research on the company? Come on.
Well, this is not a all or nothing sort of thing. I'm saying if you're going to break it down, you want to spend 70% of your time making you stand out over everyone else who you're competing against. Right. And yeah, you have to know the basics about a company. But I think another thing people try to do is get too I don't want to say witty or sophisticated, but they'll find out like a little known item, and then they'll mention it and to show, well, look how smart I am. I found this thing about your company. But that's one of those things that's a 50-50. You could actually embarrass the person you're interviewing by knowing more than they do about their own company.
I love that. And when I'm counseling friends and salespeople, candidates that I'm working with, I actually advise them to treat the interview just like they would treat an objection handling scenario in sales. Why don't you anticipate 10 questions that you might get and how you might answer that question? And I use situation, action, result. I was faced with this particular situation, I took this particular action, and the results were this. And I make sure I tell the salesperson or the candidate to emphasize on each of those questions what the situation was, what the action was, what the result was, and ideally, just like you said, it's saving me money or making me money, or I hit my quota consistently thereafter because I did these particular things. I love that turnaround story. I was the worst salesperson on the team for the first 90 days. Thank God I got a break and I had a good coach to help me, and I turned it around by doing these 3 things, and the result was I made President's Club in my first year. That's an awesome story. That's the kind of story that as a hiring manager, I'm like, jackpot, nice work.
I'm going to change my prep packets to add the way you had instead of the feature advantage benefit. Same thing, but it sounds better when you say it. You know how to sex it up.